if you were to go in DeLorean, throw on the flux capacitor, and now you got to pick 3 times. You got to go one time before you were born in history. You're going to go visit, experience something, see something, whatever. Then another time during your lifetime, it could be to relive something or to go take advantage of it. I don't know, whatever, like something,
Okay.
you know, and then in the future, you want to go visit 3 times, one before you're born, during, and then after.
This is a good question.
Today.
All right. So before I was born, I would like to visit like the Civil War days, because I feel like those days were so raw, almost like I can't even imagine. Like, so I went and visited like the battle, like Gettysburg and all that kind of stuff. And that like was such a crazy time for me, because like thinking back how they used to fight in wars back then too, like they would literally like just line up next to each other. And like, I'm like, it just blows my mind, the style and everything, just the way people were back then. Like, when we would look at like the little round top, I don't know if you ever like experienced that kind of stuff, but where they like, we walked like where they would had the battles and everything, and I just like visioning that stuff. I'm like, you literally just walk up next to each other, point blank range.
Yep.
Like, I can't even like, so that kind of ties into like why I love those war movies and everything, because it just like blows my mind and I can't believe it. So I would love to go back to those times just to. I mean, maybe not. I would like to, but just as like, I don't know, just this experience.
You'd fly on the wall. You wouldn't be like,
yeah, fly on the wall. Perfect. Exactly.
Yeah.
Fly far
Really
away from everybody.
fly.
And then sometime in my life, obviously the golfing experience. But I would like to go back to when I was about 10, 11 years old. And when that's the first fork in the road moment. And instead of choosing baseball, I would choose probably both and try to, because I feel like if I chose golf only, I would have been a Johnny Manziel of baseball, or I mean of golf, and literally just got out of the league. But I feel like if I was to play both baseball and golf, it would have like kept me in that same mindset. And I feel like I could have probably been able to go pro in golf, and then who knows, maybe get, you know, a minor league look and play for a year type thing. And I would love to have been able to just say, no, I'm going all in and playing both and seeing what that would have turned into, basically. But I really think the way it turned out now was how it was supposed to be, because I just wasn't mentally ready yet back then in the early days. So, and then in the future, wow.
In the future.
Woo. Obviously, like, you know, 5-10 years, see what the Veveverse is and all that. But like, let's see. That's like a cliche answer right now.
Right.
It's becoming cliche.
I feel like, okay, one thing, in like 20 years from now, I really see driving is like an extinct thing. I think it's almost going to be like, good or bad, it's going to be like every car is self-driving. Everyone's going to be just hopping into like their own little self-driving taxi. And so I'm interested to see, because I read something or watched something on that, and they talked about how there's going to be so many more cars on the road because of that reason. And I started thinking about it. I was like, whoa. I started visioning like in 10, 15, 20 years from now, nobody's going to be driving maybe. And everybody's just going to say, where are you going? Plug it in. And it just takes you there. And everyone's just in like their own automatic vehicle. And so not that I want to get there too soon, but like I would love to just see how that all kind of plays out like 15, 20 years down the road. I guess that's one little tunnel vision aspect that I picked, the cars on the road for some reason, but I was just trying to think like outside a normal answer of like what I would like to see maybe, or just curious maybe in like 15, 20 years how it's going to play out. Because I talk about how, or not talk about, I always watch videos on Elon Musk talking about how, you know, the electric cars right now, the self-driving, it's going to become a thing. But then I watch another thing, how everyone's going to be in the self-driving cars. And I really think that's going to be how the future is.
Super dope. I agree with you. So, all right. So look, everybody in the chat, drop a like. I've got a link to Johnny Dunn's YouTube channel. It's pinned in the live chat. Go ahead, go sub. If for whatever reason you're not subbed already, go sub. Hurry back. We're gonna, you know, probably wrap it up here in a few minutes. And so, all right. So let's see. Talk to us about something something embarrassing that's happened to you. That
Okay.
you share something embarrassing.
I would say the most embarrassing thing I've probably been through is coming out of the blue and making music. I started when I say I started making music, I was never into music before 2018. Like, this is like, all right, so coming out of high school, I was going to be a phys ed teacher, play baseball in college. That was like 2011, 2012. I graduated in college in 2016, 2017, 2018. 2017, I started teaching a little bit right away after college, but I felt my soul dying. I felt like I'm sitting at recess and I'm watching these kids and I'm like, what am I doing here? I'm teaching, but like, I feel like I'm supposed to be doing way more. Like, I'm hungry, I'm passionate. I don't know like where I'm going to be, but like, I was trying to play golf at this point, maybe get a look at independent baseball league still. I started my business with the Dunn's Fancy Lineups thing I was trying to do. And so I was just passionate. I stopped teaching for really no real thing. I was just going to pick up golf again, try to play somewhere independent baseball and do my Dunn's Fancy Lineups thing and just go all in. Use my degree as like a backup plan. And that's when I found music, because I was doing the Dunn's Fancy Lineups thing, doing podcasts for it, but I was like, this is a lot of work. I was writing notes for it, just try to make it flow. It wasn't really fun to me. I was like, what if I made a song to advertise this instead? So my first song was called Dunn's Fancy Lineups theme song. I saw my mic laying there. I was like, let me try to make a song.
Wow.
Literally just I never had any music background. I love like hip hop. Like, I love like listen to me. I was like, okay, worst case scenario, this is going to be so bad that it just goes viral and then my business goes viral. I was like, people make fun of me, but my business would be viral. Best case scenario, I mean, I like it and it's a good song. So I was like, I'm going to do this. So I was on YouTube, just found like a beat I liked. Because of the podcast, I figured out like mic and talking to audio and everything. I found out how to like illegally download a YouTube video beat, put it as the background, and I literally just put vocals over the beat, and that was it. I didn't know how to add effects or anything, and I put it on SoundCloud. And I was like, let's go, Dunn's Fancy Lineups theme song. And then here's the thing that changed everything. A couple days goes by. I didn't tell anybody I was doing this, by the way. A couple like days go by. I get a comment on a SoundCloud saying like, where is this song? I can't find it on Apple Music, iTunes. And I was like, what? You can't find it on iTunes? I don't even know how to put this song on iTunes. What do you mean? You want to buy it? It's here free. I was like, oh my God, this is. So I'm Googling, how do I put songs on iTunes? I'm like Googling all this. I found like Russ was talking about a TuneCore, so I'm like,
distribution.
Yep. So I was like, oh my God. So TuneCore is just like I said, the online distribution. You can upload a TuneCore, sends to the Apple Music, Spotify, iTunes, all that.
Give you the sauce, man. Don't give them all the sauce.
Right. Gotta save some. That not too much free game out there. But so I started learning all that. I'm like digging in. Boom, upload a couple songs to iTunes, Apple Music, Spotify. And now, like the marketer in me, I'm promoting everywhere. Facebook, YouTube. I'm so into this. I forget like everybody I grew up with, Johnny's making music. Johnny's a rapper now. So like that was the whole connotation. Like, oh, Johnny's lost his mind. He's a rapper now. But me, I'm just trying something out. Like, I'm just trying something here. It's kind of like, I feel like had a chance to work. Maybe I got people asking me to buy it somehow. So I started advertising. I got into it though. I started making more songs about the Dunn's Fancy Lineups thing. It was like fun for me to do. Yeah. I didn't realize like at the time, like everybody's looking at me like, what are you doing? Like I made a song called like about NBA, like fantasy sports, but that led me into loving that whole aspect of it. This is no effects on it, just raw vocals on top of a YouTube beat, uploading it to iTunes. Crazy. And then I started learning, what reverb meant, start learning the littlest, tiniest things. And then I started making music about my life. I started finding like motivation. It was just fun for me to write it down, talk about experiences. I didn't care that my friends I grew up with were making fun of me because I knew I'm not doing this for them. I'm doing this for me. Like they're just have an opinion because they know me, etc. They never knew me making music, but I had fans who didn't know me vibe with it. And so I was like, okay, I see what's happening here. There's some people out there that rock with my message, that like what I'm doing, but everybody I grew up with me who knew me for who I was thinks I've just lost my mind because I'm a connotation rapper now. It's such a bad connotation. Like if I said I was a musician,
it is. That's why I say I'm an artist.
What's
That's
that?
why I'll say I'm an MC or a recording artist before I say I'm a rapper.
Facts, exactly. Like your perception of people when you say you're a recording artist or you're a musician or you're an MC, it's like, oh, okay. Oh, he's a rapper. It's like,
Right. Bling bling. Here you go.
right,
And I'm not from that era, so I'm not bling bling.
exactly. And so like I always tell people, I'm like, I mean, like I sing on like hip hop beats, like about motivational. Like I have a motivational message in my music. It's motivating for me. I know it's going to be motivating for someone else out there. So I just kept doing it and had fun with it. And so that was probably my most embarrassing moment, making YouTube videos. I just did that with my iPhone. And my buddy said, yo, I said, yo, film me, learn how to edit all them together. And that's helped me make like content for Veve, like videos. Like I would have never known how to do any of that stuff if it wasn't for that. And it's led me to make some decent songs. Like in my prime, Pat McAfee's played that on his show. And it's led me just to keep making, like wanting to make more music now. So it's just been a fun hobby, man.
Yo,
It was embarrassing for sure. Like people, actually, I did my first show. I did my first live. I went to a show and everything, perform right before the coronavirus hit. It was like late February, February 22nd, North Jersey, Elizabethtown. And it's crazy because I actually performed at the same place where Non-Fungibles performed too, like a year before me. Like he was there all the time performing, making music. I was like a year later. And so I went there. I had no idea how it was going to be. Like I've never performed before. I practiced though. Like I felt like I've killed it. And so I went there, had a vision in my head how it was going to go. There was probably like 100 people there too. And it went exactly how I visioned it. People were loving it. And it blew my mind. I came home on a high like I've never been on before.
Exactly.
I stayed up all night, and that's when I made In My Prime. Literally, like when I came home, and that it's probably my best song. And it shows me, I was like, whoa, that energy that I captured was the energy of that show. And it felt, I was like, whoa, I'm getting chills right now because it brings me back to that moment. Like it was probably the best time of my life. But that was also another embarrassing moment because it wasn't, but I thought it could have been. The embarrassing moment, I guess, would be just making music and my childhood friends laughing at me. Like, but it's all led me to where I am now. So I'm fortunate for it all.
Man, for sure. For sure. I mean, it's so funny because when you get started making videos or what have you, and people who are not used to seeing that, they see it, they're kind of like, what?
Right.
What are you doing? So, man, I mean, for sure, man, it's super dope. I love it. But you just you got to just be like whatever about it. Like
exactly. You got to have fun with it. You can't care what everybody's going to think. You can't please everybody.
Nah, man.
And just I always say, like, when you have the best intentions and you have the best intention, it doesn't matter what people think, because at the end of the day, you're doing what you love and you're doing what you think is best, like what's right and what's best. So
right.
People can take their opinion how they want.
Yeah, absolutely, man. I'm with you on that. So, all right. So, a tattoo. I don't know if you have tattoos, but if you were gonna get a tattoo, or if you do have, like, what kind of tattoo would you get?
So I actually don't have any tattoos or piercings, anything like that. I thought about getting a tattoo in high school. There was like a phase. All my buddies were getting tattoos, right? And I was about to, but I was like, I'm not joining the crowd just because everyone else is. They didn't get them in like crazy, stupid locations on their face, but they'd get it like on the shoulder, back, whatever. But I was like, I don't want anything that bad. I wasn't like, oh, I really want this. This means a lot to me. So I never got a tattoo. I wasn't against them. I just never really like had
nothing
that
resonated to where you're like, I want this on my body. I was like that for a long time till I found the right thing.
What was it? What did you find? If you don't mind me asking.
Yeah, actually, the first one I did my name. All right, so this is when everybody was getting like tramp stamps and tribal tattoos and bands and all that. So I basically just did my name in almost a tribal band form, but it's in Arabic. So it's my name in Arabic. And then I did my zodiac on my other. It's like a pretty big piece of my own.
That's cool. So yeah, you found those things that mean a lot to you, and you're like, boom. And that's honestly how I am now. Like I didn't really think about it until someone brought it up on Twitter. They said I'm getting a Veve tattoo. And I was like, whoa, okay. Actually, I'm not gonna get like Veve on my forehead or anything stupid like that. But I might get, my first ever collectible, like a Batman or something, the Todd McFarlane Batman or something like that, just because it means so much to me. Like this changed my life. I went from something like no money. I mean, technically I don't have it yet, but like, you know, Veve has built a platform for me. Like, it's just, so I do want to get something related to Veve and Akomi as a tattoo somewhere on my body at some point. That's something I do want to get. I don't know where or what, but I think I want to get like a little something that just means something to me. Like,
Yeah.
like,
Let's all get the Akomi circle.
yeah, that would be
Akomi
fire.
was
Like, I
pretty
would get
fire.
something like that, like a little something on my shoulder or
It's
back.
red. It's different.
Something.
Yeah.
Because it
Yeah.
means a lot to me. Like, people to this day, they don't get it, and I don't know if they'll ever get it. They probably will eventually, but like once
they will.
everybody's on it,
Yeah, it's too late.
once their kids are saying, "Can I download Veve?" Like, they're gonna be like,
Right.
"Oh my gosh!" But it's changed my life. It's gonna change so many other people's lives. Yeah, that's something I want to get.
For sure. All right, well, chat, you know what? We're almost done here. Drop a like, subscribe to Johnny Dunn's YouTube channel if you haven't already for whatever reason. It is pinned in the live chat. Right there is pinned. So, all right, so I've got one more question. All right, and it's gonna be, what is something? I mean, look, we've been talking for a while now. We've got to know you as a person. You know, I definitely feel that, you know, at least for me, I'm like, yo, I know I have a good idea of who you are and
Right.
what you're about now, you know?
Right.
So super dope, down to earth cat. Like, it seems like everybody that I talk to here, you know, that's from the Veve fam, for real. So, all right, so the question is, what is something that we would be surprised about knowing, that, you know, something that we haven't spoken about, obviously, but that'll surprise us, something about you.
Ooh,
We know
okay.
you got the baseball skills, you know, we know Veve, all that.
So I would say I kind of answered it with the first question. Me and my dad and my grandparents were from Jamaica. That kind of blows people's mind. They're like, what? They don't believe it. That always surprises people. I would say, let's see here. Some things that surprise me or that surprise everybody else. I mean, I got my degree in health and physical education to be like a gym teacher. I mean, that's not too surprising, I guess. Let's see here. I feel like I was pretty much an open book.
You.
I'm trying to think. There's got to be something though that like it would surprise a lot of people. I would say, okay, for how I am today, I was a completely different mental side in high school. Like how I talked about, I never really worked hard in high school. I was like your partier. I was like a wild kid back in high school. And that's why I feel like I can, like I almost took a head coaching baseball job at a middle school. And when I went for the interview, I told him my background. I told him, you know, I was a wild partier type kid in high school, and it took that college experience to get cut. It's like a Michael Jordan story. You go to college, play baseball after just being the man in your town, and you get cut. You just got punched in the face for your first time. You're like, what are you gonna do? You gonna quit, or are you gonna come back and be the fucking man? Like, so that's how I treated it. And so in high school, I feel like people would be surprised of how I was because they know me now. I was a completely different kid in high school. Like that's one thing that I almost regret, because I feel like if I was who I was today with the work ethic, how I am driven, tunnel vision back in high school, I feel like I could easily have went to a Division I baseball program. And before that, I probably would have went pro in golf. But I was just that kid who just relied on my talent. I came from a small town. I had like 100 kids. I really have 100 kids in my senior class.
Wow.
Yeah, I kept thinking maybe 1,000. I had just over 100 kids in my senior class. That's unbelievably small.
Yeah, that's crazy. That's wild.
That is wild.
Oh my gosh, it's just hitting me now how crazy small that is.
Yeah, that's just unheard of, bro.
That's crazy.
I don't even. I feel like what I'm saying is not even right.
During lunch.
I knew everybody in my school. Like if there was a new kid, like they stuck out like a wild duck. Like it's unbelievable. I can't believe it. Like growing up, I always thought, you know, like I would tell people, but like I was so familiar with it. Didn't seem like a big deal. Like the town next to me, they had like 2,000 kids in their senior grade. Washington Township's a huge school. So like now, like just growing up, thinking back, it's incredibly small. So I was always like the man of a small town. Going to a college, relied on my talent. You got smacked in your face, buddy. Like, so I feel like those high school days that people would be surprised at who I was, but it all made me who I am today. So I feel like I'm thankful for those days too.
It's crazy, you know. I'm just gonna mention one thing is when Strange was interviewing me, and he I don't recall exactly the question, but I remember I replied with, I feel like I've lived different lives. It's like I was this person during this time. I was this
Chapters.
person. Yes, chapters. You
Yep.
know, and until you really think about it, it's just like, you know, wait a minute. Yeah, man.
So right, like we're all writing our own books right now. Like this is just the next chapter in our story, and that's the way my whole life was like that. I've always been someone who's wanted to write my own book because I feel like the same way Russ did it, like it's all in your mind. He made a book, and it's just a mentality. Like each chapter was a different song title, and it's all just a motivational mindset book. And so I've always wanted to write a book because I feel like each lesson learned in my life is just a different chapter. And people have like what I was gonna say about the college baseball job was that I told that story because I told that coach that, and he was like, "Oh my gosh, I love your story. You would be perfect to tell our high school kids." Because I'm that type of person to say, like, don't goof off and party in high school now. I mean, anybody can do that. That's not hard to do.
Exactly.
You know, put the work in now.
Right.
Put the work in now. Go to that D1 college, be that top athlete, and now you're the man. You don't have to do what everyone else is doing right now, partying away. Like, so I could be that guy. And that's what this head coach saw. I was about to take a job at this high school. Like right after I turned down a college career teaching, or not college career, teaching career and a high school baseball job right away. Just because I was that passionate. I got the job. And then I had to tell the guy, I was like, you know what? I appreciate you so much for offering me the job. And I'm just not ready to take the job just yet because I'm too hungry in myself. I'm trying to go pro myself, and I'm not going to be able to give 100% of myself to these kids. And so he was like, dude, I appreciate you for everything, even your honesty right now. I want you to keep subbing around our school just for when you do feel like the time is right, you're always going to be able to come and coach. And I was like, thank you. And so I never went back and coached yet, but it's something I will eventually do just because I love their program. But I wasn't ready to give myself to these kids because being a coach, you're putting in all